joined by 141-pound finalist Dean Heil of Oklahoma State. We'll start with an opening statement from Dean and then questions from the crowd. Questions, please.
All right, Dean. I asked George, and we got a holy war coming tomorrow. We've got St. Ed's versus St. Ignatius, bitter rivals. What are you guys, 5 miles apart on the west side of Cleveland?
Something like that.
It's close, and it's called the Holy War. That high school rivalry is. Asked George the same thing. Does that add a little more to this? You and George have been battling since youth, since West Shore. You guys have been battling for the longest time. Does that make this extra special? And is there a little more to this NCAA final tomorrow with George Economo?
Yeah, I mean, we've been rivals ever since Pee Wee. I mean, as far as I can remember, you know, we've always grown up scrapping with each other. I think what makes this one extra special is after I beat him at Scuffle, you know, he gave me a little shove after my match and said, "See you in March." It's March. I get to see him tomorrow. Pretty excited about it.
Dean, the 141 has gone from being one of the afterthoughts of the weight classes to possibly one of the toughest weight classes at the NCAA. Do you pride yourself at being the top of the heap there?
I mean, yeah. I definitely like to think, or I do believe that 141 is the deepest weight class. Maybe not the toughest, just because, you know, a weight class may have one or two really good guys, but by far, I think if we matched up, you know, pound for pound against any other weight class, you know, we're probably 20, 30 kids deep. I mean, I remember looking at the bracket, and just the second round, you're looking at, I think it was like 8 matches of 16 really tough guys scrapping in just the second round of the tournament, not including some of the upsets that took place. You know, definitely the deepest and even possibly the toughest weight class there is.
Dean, a lot has been talked about your close matches, every single one, it seems like. Why does this happen? What goes in your mindset as you're going through these matches that you always seem to win?
Just, I mean, I do what I need to win. Maybe not the best mindset. You know, a lot of my coaches always stress scoring bonus points, and you know, it doesn't really help in the tournament team race aspect. But I believe, you know, I'm out there to wrestle. I'm out there to win. I do what I can to win. You know, it may not be pretty. You know, it gives my fans a heart attack. It makes people not like the way I wrestle. You know, and one thing that I was told is, don't care what anybody thinks. It's how you wrestle, and that's what I focus on, is how I wrestle.
Dean, I know this is a position you've been in before, but it seemed like your celebration there was a little bit subdued. You did give the crowd a little bit of a shush as you were just turning around there. Just what's going through your head in that moment?
I mean, I believe it, that, you know, when you just going about how this year went, it's definitely worse than last year. When I see how the social media is and everything, you know, I guarantee that if you aren't an Oklahoma State fan, you probably want me to lose. You know, that's just how I view it. Everybody wants me to lose. They're just waiting for me to lose, and I just they keep doubting me, and I'm here to keep proving them wrong.
Did you say Oklahoma State fans?
Yes. If you aren't an Oklahoma State fan, then they probably want me to lose.
Dean, last year at Madison Square Garden, you seemed like you were fired up about, you know, people always betting against Dean Heil. Kind of had a chip on your shoulder. I don't see it as much now, but, you know, do you let people who, you know, your haters, did they motivate you? Does it make you want to win even more? What's the difference from Madison Square Garden to now?
Yeah, I mean, you know, last year was my first go around. You know, I was really hyped about everything. You know, I was really like outspoken about everything I do. This year's a lot different because it's not that I'm trying to defend anything. You know, I'm out there to win my second title, and I'm just trying to stay a little humbled. You know, we saw that with you know, not trying to talk down on Gilman, but you know, Gilman was seen as a villain. You know, he talked a lot of smack, and what happens when you talk smack and you don't hold up on it? You know, now you look like an idiot. I mean, everybody is saying stuff about me, and they're probably waiting for me to come out. and I'm just gonna sit here. I'm gonna stay humbled and do what I can. I'm gonna show with my wrestling. That's all that matters.
That'll do it with our time for Dean Heil of Oklahoma State. Thank you.